to another Pokemon video. Yay! I mean, the last one of these I did actually did really well, like insanely well. Like I was at like 7 subscribers. I got like an average of 30 views a video, and then I just got like 700 in like a couple of days, and it's still going up. So let's see if we can break 1,000. But anyways, I'm gonna upload another video because I got some ideas that I had the other day, and I'm gonna be talking about Pokemon that are underrated in this meta. A lot of them are gonna be newer ones. Some of them are gonna be older ones that I think can do well in the meta now. But let's get into it. First one I'm gonna be talking about is my boy Satitan. Satitan is basically, in my opinion, is better Beartic because its attack stat is, Satitan's attack stat is higher than Beartic, I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, it's not higher, but it has a higher HP stat to go with that. And then it also has, yeah, it doesn't have as high of an attack stat as Beartic, but it's a new Pokemon, so I figured it might as well be featured. Beartic's actually technically better, but I feel like Satitan gets better moves, even though Beartic recently actually got good moves. So actually Beartic, you can run Beartic too, since it also has Aqua Jet. So yeah, Beartic is a pretty good Pokemon. This meta too. That's just like the first mention I'm going to talk about. But anyways, I'm going to talk about Satitan. Choice Banded Satitan is a fucking monster. Alright, 543 HP, that's insanely huge amounts of HP. It can take in fighting moves and actually survive because of this HP stat. 113 base attack is actually pretty high. And it has Sheer Force. Which, if you didn't know, Sheer Force is one of, in my opinion, the best abilities in the game. Because you can run either Choice Band or even Life Orb, because most Sheer Force Mons run Life Orb. But Life Orb Sheer Force is really crazy. And you can run like Icicle Crash. These are some moves you can run with it. You can run like, say, like Super Power on it. Does it get close combat? It doesn't get close combat, but it's fine. You can also get like coverage moves like Earthquake, which is really insane. You get a lot of good moves with Satitan. And you also can obviously Terrasilize to get any coverage that you don't already have with it. Which I think is pretty cool. And then, yeah, it also has Icicle Crash, which is boosted by Sheer Force, has Play Rough, boosted by Sheer Force, and it has Liquidation, which is boosted by Sheer Force. And its attack stats are already massive, so honestly, this is why I feel like it's better than Beartic, because it has just a higher damage output thanks to Sheer Force. So Titan's a pretty good Pokemon. Mono Ice is kind of shitty, but, what can you do about it? Like, there's like basically no Ice Pokemon that are good, really. The Ice Pokemon I'm talking about today are, yeah, I think they're okay, but, like, I don't expect them to be OU. I don't expect them to even be UU, really. I just expect people to, like, realize, oh my god, this thing can, like, destroy things with damage. You can even run Choice Scarf on this if you want, which I don't know why you would, but... Because look at this speed. Look at the speed. 73 speed. I mean, yeah, you could technically, I guess. But yeah, it has Sheer Force, which is really good. You can also run Slush Rush if you want to make a snow team. You can run Thick Fat if you want more resistances. I don't know. Anyways, next one we're going to be talking about is Surreledge. Surreledge, I'm going to rename this to Shitty Blaziken, because that is exactly what this is in my opinion. This is Shitty Blaziken. Because Flashfire, I see a lot of people running Flashfire on it, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because of its ability Weak Armor, which honestly makes it so much more of a threat, in my opinion. Because, you hit it with a physical move, right? And then, like, you can even swap into a physical move if you're, like, predicting a physical attack that you might resist with this, which, I mean, it's Ghost Fire, so it doesn't have the greatest resist set, but, it's okay. You got Focus Sash, just so you can live a move and, like, get Weak Armor proc. You got Swords Dance, so you can, like, +2 speed, +2 attack, and then you have, obviously, your moves Bitter Blade, which is not only its signature move, and a 90 base physical fire move that has literally no drawbacks. But Bitter Blade also, is a healing move, which can, honestly, if you survive the first hit, activate Focus Sash. And then you got Night Slash for coverage moves against your, your other ghost types that might try and counter this. You can also run things like, I don't know, like Psycho Cut if you want, but like I think it doesn't really matter because dark types aren't going to really be affected by it. You can run X Scissor to counter dark types too. I just like running Night Slash to counter other ghost types. I brought Shadow Claw for another stab move, and then obviously Swords Dance. This is the EV spread. Pretty good Pokemon, honestly. Uh, Honestly, it should be used more. It's shitty Blaziken. It's gonna be like a UU staple in my opinion. Cause weak armor is shitty speed boost. This is. Hold on, I'm gonna actually check something real quick. I'm gonna check. Let's see. We're gonna go to Pokemon Damage Calculator, my favorite tool. We're gonna check Cerulege. We're gonna check Cerulege versus I'm turning the volume up so I can hear my music better. But we're checking Cerulege. 252, and then let's say Adamant, because yeah. And then we're gonna check Blaziken. Just check this, and then we're gonna check 252. So, 252, and then Adamant. So, actually, Cerulege does have a better attack stat and a better base speed stat. The only downside is that, you know, speed boost doesn't actually proc. So this is the reason why this is shitty Blaziken is one, its special attack is not kind of bad, it's really bad. I'm comparing it to a 110 from Blaziken. You have 60. This means Blaziken can actually run, you know, like special coverage moves, which you can't really do with this mon, which kind of sucks because you know you have like Shadow Ball, Stored Power, which are special moves. You have Overheat too, Lava Plume. You know, you got a lot of moves. Even Hex you have, because you can pair Hex with your Will-O-Wisp, Fire Blast, you know. You have all these really great special moves with Cerulege, but the special attack is just terrible, honestly. So you can't really play as a special attacker, but it has Bitter Blade, so it makes it pretty better. Let's see, is Bitter Blade here? Okay, it is, sick. Well, look at this. Bitter Blade is honestly a pretty good move. You can run it, like, let's say against a Dragapult. We'll go OU Choice Specs, sure. I'd like to point out, bam. Pretty bad, because it's a resist. I forgot that was a resist. I'm stupid. Okay. Shadow Claw. Look at that. Look at this damage it can do. And then you get a +2, say, in attack, right? And a +2 speed. And you get 412. That's not quite enough. But, you know, that's just one physical hit, right? So, that's not that bad. Especially because you look at his base defense stat and his base special defense stat, both of which aren't actually too bad. So, like, obviously you have to do -1 defense. But, you look at it. Shadow Claw and Bitter Blade do a lot of damage. Shadow Claw does even more so after Swords Dance being guaranteed Oko. And then, even Bitter Blade does a lot more. So, yeah, that just shows why I think this is basically shitty Blaziken. Next up is a Pokemon I have not seen, like, at all. Used, like, at all. And I'm talking about Arboliva. Arboliva, I don't care how the fuck you say it. But there's two main ways I see this being able to be used. I see this being used as a, grass-type support mon, you know, like your Orthoworms and your Amoonguses. Like that, because it gets access to Strength Sap, which is really good. Gets access to Leech Seed, good move to, like, you know, slowly chip away at tanks. It's actually a counter to what's it called? Counter to the Garganacl, which, as you all know, I am the world's #1 Garganacl hater. This is better Exeggutor. Cerulege is shitty Blaziken. Cerulege is shitty Blaziken. Arboliva is better Exeggutor. Because, it also gets the Harvest ability, which you can pair with, like, an Aguava Berry. And it's really good because, you know, you can, like, get, 1/3 of HP when you get low, which is really good. And you always have a replenishable, so you don't need, like, Recycle or stuff. So Synthesis technically doesn't even need to be in here. You could run, like, a coverage move, like, say, Dazzling Gleam if you want. And then you still have this set, which, obviously, you know, you have 0 attack if he's negative, because it's not a physical attacker at all. But, okay, this attack stat is nice. Game Freak knew what they were doing, that's all I'm saying. The downside of this is, obviously, ridiculously slow. So you're 9 times out of 10, even like 19 times out of 20, you're going to have to tank a hit before you can move yourself. But you have Strength Sap to keep yourself healthy, and you have, Leech Seed to keep yourself healthy. You have a Guava Harvest Berry. this is just a mon that keeps itself healthy. And then the other set you can run with this is Arboliva, just attack. Because this mon has the move Seed Sower, which the ability Seed Sower. This is a new ability, and when you're hit, the effect of grassy terrain begins. It's not as good as your Rillaboom and stuff, because you don't get it as soon as you get out. But you can run Grassy Seed Sower, boost your defense a bit, and then just start sweeping with your Leaf Storm, Earth Power, Dazzling Gleam, and keep Dazzling Gleam. I'm a dumbass. All right, Dazzling Gleam. I can speak English. Dazzling Gleam, and keep your health healthy with Strength Sap, because that's really good. Like, Strength Sap is just a really good ability. Not only do you lower the attack stat, which is good because this isn't really a defensive Bulkmon. I mean, it has 90 base defense. It's not terrible, but Strength Sap just really helps with that. And then you have Dazzling Gleam as your coverage. It has some decent coverage moves. It has, as I mentioned, Dazzling Gleam has Earth Power, has Leaf Storm, which is really good. You can even run Terra Blast for your other. You can run Pollen Puff, actually, which is another. It's a 90 base power bug move, which is not bad. The only downside is its typing isn't great. Grass normal, a lot of weaknesses and not great resists, but it's meant to be. So it's not really the most offensive Pokemon. I mean, it's the more offensive Pokemon, but what am I talking about? It's a more offensive Pokemon with 125 base special attack. That's crazy. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Cryogonal. Cryogonal is actually a pretty good Pokemon in my opinion. Alright, most people aren't going to like it. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel about it either. Because you look at this, 136. Honestly, I'm considering just taking out these HPVs and just giving it here. And then honestly giving it a boosting defense station too, just so it can tank in more hits. But honestly, I think it's a pretty good Pokemon. It's a good Stallmon at least. It has Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. It has Recover. Honestly, you should probably run Heavy Duty Boots just so you're not weak to Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rock, which is terrible. You have Rapid Spin to get rid of those Stealth Rocks. You have Recover to keep yourself healthy. Freeze Dry to take on any water types that may challenge you, as well as a counter to Ice types. I mean, not Ice type, Dragon types. And you have Acid Armor to again keep yourself healthy. Keep your defense up, which is really good in Cryogonal's case because their base defense is really bad. This isn't really a great Pokemon. It might be used more in like NU. But honestly, Cryogonal is a pretty good Stallmon, especially because of this base 135 special defense, which, yeah, that's a lot. It's one of the highest in this gen, actually, the highest of which I believe is Florges, but Florges isn't as bulky as Cryogonal, so Cryogonal is better in my opinion. I mean, Florges is a fairy type, and Cryogonal is an ice type, but that's like comparing, like, rotten oranges to, like, fresh apples. You can tell what I'm talking about, right? Ice type is obviously the shitty end of the deal, but what are you gonna do about it? Next up is Palma. I have not seen Palma a lot recently. I don't know why I haven't. Palma is great. I love it. This is one of my favorite Pokemon in this gen. And with its Iron Fist punching glove. Wow, this is crazy. You not only do you avoid your Rocky Helmets or your you avoid Rocky Helmet, you avoid Rough Skin like that. Iron Barbs. There's no Iron Barbs mon in this gen, but you avoid it if you play national decks. You also have Iron Fist, so you're getting a 1.2 increase and a 1.1 increase, which is crazy. It gets a lot of punch. It gets I think all the punch moves with Ice Punch, Fire Punch. What's the other? Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. Yeah, I guess Thunder Punch, which is pretty good. It also gets Mach Punch. It gets like a lot of punch moves. It does not get things. It does not get Drain Punch, which in my opinion was a miss. But I don't care. It gets Bulk Up, which is again a really good move. Not only being able to make yourself more tanky because the 70 base defense is pretty bad. But you also get to, increase that. It's a pretty high speed stat. Base 105 speed is honestly pretty good. It has a pretty high attack stat too with 115. Again, a pretty good Pokemon. And its signature move is the strongest physical electric attack in the game. And actually below Zap Cannon, it's the strongest electric type attack in the game. You do lose your electric type after it, so it means you don't get stab after, but you can switch out and then but this is meant to be like a one-time move. Alright, this is meant to be like that. And honestly, you can Terra type into Electric, which is pretty good. Because you keep it. Now I'm going to move on to my next list. I'm going to be talking about Orthoworm. Orthoworm, this is my boy. Alright, Orthoworm is my boy. You run Leftovers. Its ability Earth Eater is actually really good because it gives Steel type the best typing in the game, in my opinion. I know Fairy type is technically the best offensive and defensive, but I like Steel better, so screw you. Why did I say screw you? Fuck you. If you believe that Fairy is better than Steel, then fuck you. I know it technically is, but I don't care. But anyways, Earth Eater, Orthoworm, you get so much more bang for your buck with because look at this. 1/4, you heal 1/4 of its max HP when hit by a ground move. That can be used as a pivot. That can be used as like healing. That can be used like if they don't know what the ability is, like what Earth Eater is, or like what this ability this mon has. If they don't know that, that's just for healing. And then Leftovers for more passive healing. Okay, everyone's been like shitting on Cyclizar because it gets Shed Tail. Orthoworm, in my opinion, is a better Shed Tail Pokemon. You can fight me over it in the comments. I do not care. Orthoworm is simply the better Shed Tail Pokemon. Because it's slower. That's the main reason why. So, it acts as a teleport baton pass substitute. Which is really good. It gets Stealth Rock, so you can, like, set up hazards. It also gets Spikes if you want to set up Spikes, but I don't really do that. And then you can run Iron Defense Body Press and just start shitting on Mons. I run minus special attack nature. Why am I at 0 attack IVs? This is meant to be 31. This is just so you can do more damage with your body press. But yeah, Orthoworm is really good in my opinion. Its only threat is fire types, but you can obviously have coverage for that. So I think yeah, Orthoworm is really good. Next up, Clodsire. Clodsire is really good. I like Clodsire. It runs 2 viable abilities in Water Absorb and Unaware. Unaware is to stop setup sweepers. Water Absorb is to have more switch-ins. Lepaberry, because I like running Lepaberry Recover because PP was nerfed. And in my opinion, this is going to be another video for another day, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But I think Lepaberry stall Pokemon are actually going to be part of the meta now. And then it gets access to all of the hazards, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rock, which is really good. I like it. It gets Toxic, which is good because it's not actually a move that all Pokemon can get now. Which kind of sucks, but, what you can do about it. But it gets Toxic, which is really nice. And then it also gets Haze if you run... This is for if you run Water Absorb with it. You can also run, like Earthquake or stuff if you want to, like, have an attacking move. But I use this as a stall Pokemon. I don't use it as an actual, like, attacking mon. So this is the EV spread. As you can see, I just click this button because I'm lazy. Next up, Kilowattrel. This is, as I like to call it, shitty Zapdos. You can see a trend with the Pokemon I'm talking about, right? Like, they're either shitty versions of other Pokemon, or they're, better versions. Like, Orthoworm is shitty Cyclizar. Except not shitty, because I think it's better. It's like moderately better Cyclizar. That's what I feel like it is. But yeah, Kilowattrel is shitty Zapdos. There's no denying that. I run heavy duty boots. Everyone's been running Wind Power. Alright. That is that's understandable. I get it. Wind Power is a pretty interesting ability. It's a new ability added in this gen. Tailwind. This Pokemon not only gets Tailwind, but it's also an electric type, which means it's really good. I like running Volt Absorb, so I have more switch-ins, though. And also, most people don't expect shitty Zapdos to have Volt Absorb. Most people expect it to be playing Wind Power. So you're more, not really, you're more confident. Yeah, you're more confident to use Volt Absorb, like electric type moves on it. And then I run the one downside about it. I mean, there's multiple downsides on it, but one of the downsides on it is it actually doesn't get defog, which was a huge missed opportunity because, I mean, I know they added so many moves to get rid of hazards in this gen, but still, I wish it had defog because that's what I use flying types for on my team at this point. I don't use them for much else. I use them also for an electric pivot, but yeah. Anyways, so this is shitty Zapdos. This is also better Emolga. It's like in the middle of the two. This is like the the middle child of the electric flying lines. And then Thunderous is the daddy, obviously. Daddy. Sorry, what was that? What was that? What just happened? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it gets Thunder. Gets Thunderbolt if you want to be safer. It also gets U-Turn and Volt Switch, which is pretty cool. I use Volt Switch on it just so I can, like, switch out and, you know, deal shit tons of damage. I also run Hurricane, because it's the only really great move. You can run Air Slash on it, but I run Hurricane because higher damage, and, you know, if you have a chance to miss, you go bigger or go home. That's my opinion. And then Roost to keep yourself healthy. Now, this is like most flying types in which its base defense is dog shit. Its base HP is not great. Base special defense is also dog shit, but it's fast and it deals a shitload of damage. So that's why it's here. And that's also why it's shitty Zapdos, because it's not as bulky. Next up is Pincurchin. Pincurchin? I don't fucking care. You guys argue about it. I don't care. Next, so this is a really nice Pokemon. You run Terrain Extender on it, you run Electric Surge on it, and then you switch in your Core Drive Pokemon. That's the strat with this. That's the only strat you can really run with this Pokemon. Electric Surge, Terrain Extender is how you play it. Okay? And then this isn't really meant to be a good, like, Mon for that purpose. This is just meant to be a decent, terrain setter. But honestly, Pincurchin's stats aren't that bad. It has a pretty high base defense. Not the greatest Okay, I mean, not the greatest HP, a shitty HP stat, but you run plus 252 HP IVs, and you get 300, which is a nice round number, you know, so it's pretty good. It gets Recover, which is also really nice. It gets Liquidation. It also gets Zing Zap. And then, if you want to become more bulky, you can run Curse on it. This isn't meant to be, like, you know, a sweeper or anything. This is literally meant to do terrain, because we don't have Tapu Koko in this right now, at least. So, this is the best we can do. This is, as I like to really shitty Tapu Koko. This is all, yeah, it's just shitty Tapu Koko. I don't know what to say. Next up is Dondozo. Okay, now this is, not really a Pokemon I have to elaborate on, because this is actually in the meta a lot right now. But you have Unaware on it, you have Leftovers on it, it's a Water type, which makes it one of the best types in the game. And then its attack stat is, I mean, 100 attack stat's actually not too bad. So and it gets good coverage moves with, like, you know, Rock Slide, Avalanche, Ice Fang. It gets Order Up, which I think is a really funny move. It also gets Earthquake. I mentioned that, right? Yeah. You can also run Liquidation on it, too. But, so, if you don't know, Tatsugiri is the new Water Dragon type added in this gen. But, you know, Dondozo, you know, isn't that. It's not Tatsugiri. So it just gets an 80 base power, 100% accuracy Dragon type move that raises the stat, which is pretty good. And then you can put a lot of bulk on it. It has a massive 150 base HP, so you have like 504 HP. You have like 266 defense, which is really good. The only chance you really have of killing this is a special attacker, and you can really counter that with Terra Ground, which is pretty insane. I think this is actually going to become OU. I really do, because Unaware with this stat spread is insane. There's no breaking through this with a physical attacker. This fucker is a wall. Even if you do this, 329. If you don't even need this. You can say you don't even need plus attack on it, because look at this. Now it's so well rounded, and it has such a high HP stat. This is broken. This is better Quagsire. This is like way better Quagsire, because it actually can deal damage too, and it doesn't need to rely on like Toxic and shit, which is crazy. It also gets Zen Headbutt, you know. And then obviously, last but not least, we have Staraptor. I have like not seen Staraptor at all. I'm really upset about it, because I was upset that people were not using Staraptor, because I was so upset when Staraptor was not in Gen 8, and then they brought him back, and now I'm happy, but no one's using him. And I don't know why, because you run Reckless, Brave Bird, Double Edge, both of which being stab moves. Yeah, 120 base stab moves, which get boosted by Reckless. Is crazy. That's crazy, right? That's not just me, right? And you also have, you know, like a massive speed stat, like base 100, and, you know, like a 120 attack, which is crazy. Yeah, this Pokemon is really good. It can take on, like, a lot of Mons, because, you know, Brave Bird, Double Edge, the only types that resist it are Steel and Rock. And you don't even need to worry about that if you want, because instead of quick attack, I just run quick attack so we have a priority move on this team, but you can run close combat. So it becomes even more threatening because there isn't really a safe mon that can like take on this. That's just my opinion, at least. It also gets Final Gambit if you want to, like, be gimmicky. I don't like Final Gambit as a move, but also gets some decent coverage and it gets decent coverage. You can technically run no item plus acrobatics, but you don't get the boost from Reckless Brave Bird, which is the main reason I have this. I think this is a really good Pokemon. I really like it. Staraptor should be used more. It can counter a lot of things. It's really good. But the moral of the story is that most of these mons are either shitty versions of other mons, like, this is just, like, basically Beartic. Better Exeggutor. These are just, like, different versions of mon. Better Raichu, I mean, this is actually better Electabuzz. I mean, not Electivire, right? Yeah, but anyways, this was today's video. I just wanted to make a quick video for today, talking about some mons that I think are really underrated and should get more use, because they actually have some really interesting strats behind them. And anyways, also I wanted watch time, and I wanted more subscribers. Speaking of which, why haven't you done that yet? You fucking idiot. You fucking moron. This is why you're a failure to your family, Timmy. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Gradience, and I'm going to go cry myself to sleep. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out. Bye!